If your legato sounds completely effortless when you are playing through a guitar plugin, or on the flip side, if when you switch to a real tube amp, you just go into panic mode and you can't play properly through it, you are facing one of two problems. Either your audio interface input gain is completely wrong, or there is a massive hole in your legato technique. Today we are fixing both. I already know the story. Everyone tells you to set the input gain just below the red. That is a lie, that's an actual mistake. The majority of guitar plugins are designed to receive a much lower signal, with peaks hitting around -12 dBFS. And here is the threat. If your input gain is too hot, the plugin will literally cheat for you. It squashes your dynamics, compress every single note, you will have much more distortion, and it will make you feel like a legato god. But on the other hand, if your gain is too low, it completely cuts your legs off. No sustain, no power, no tone. That's just bad. Here is the real danger of practicing this way. A badly adjusted plugin gives you a distorted reality of what your hands actually sound like. To me, nothing beats a real tube amp. That's the ultimate unfiltered snapshot of your touch and your tone. But of course, I get it. Cranking up a tube amp is not always an option, whether it's for your convenience, space, practicing at late night on headphones, or having 100 presets at your fingertips. Honestly, I will always prefer a real amp, but the benefits of using a high-quality, well-made plugin are just massive. I am the first one to use them all the time. But the whole point is this: you need to set up that plugin so it reflects your actual touch. It needs to fight you back, at least a little bit, and at least as long as you need it to be in that way, before you feel 100% comfortable both with a real amp and a guitar plugin. It has to be responsive, dynamic, just as difficult to play as a real tube amp. And yes, if you know how to do it, achieving that is absolutely possible. It will sound exactly like a tube amp? No, only tube amps sound exactly like tube amps. But if you calibrate it right, your technique will translate perfectly. In this way, when you finally step into a real stage and plug into a real loud tube amplifier, and trust me here, it will happen, you are actually going to play at your best, feel at your ease, and enjoy the moment instead of going into a total panic mode because your digital safety net is gone. So let's fix this once and for all. First on the audio settings and then on your playing. Let's see now if your ears and your playing can handle the naked truth. Okay, we are now in Cubase. This is my strip. Let me show you what I have here. It's all Nembrini audio plugins, and the first two are free. So if you like them, feel free to grab them on the website. First one, it's a tuner, because it's very important. Second one is a tube screamer, NA808, and I'm sure you already know what it's about. And the amp I'm using here for this example is the Kali Dual. This is made after a dual rectifier. I'm using channel 2 in raw mode. But first things first, let's adjust the input gain. For the input gain, please notice that this is the strip, the one with the red fader here. This is my Audient ID44. I am plugged into channel 2, so this is what I'm using. Be aware that input gain is not the same gain you would find on an amplifier. This is about the signal level before it hits the guitar plugin. So it's very, very important here. As I told you before, I aim to have my peaks in this area around -12, more or less. Okay. Oh, let me turn on the Cali. Okay, but too low. Let's adjust. Okay, I guess we are in the right ballpark. Okay, and if you hit it too hard, let's exaggerate. Do you notice that? you get more sustain. But the tone is completely out of control. It's horrible, basically. And so let's go back to the right spot. In this area, you get pretty much the same difficulties you would get from an actual tube amp. So this is what we want. We want the plugin to react as close as possible to a real tube amp. Okay, let me show you the settings. So as I told you before, it's channel 2 in raw mode, and this is how I do like my tone for practice, or in general to make it sound real. Mid-range and treble sounds correct to me. So let's engage the overdrive. Again, this is in front of the amp, exactly as you would do by putting an overdrive before the input of your amp. So it's exactly the same. Please notice that the drive is at 0. Level, it's around, what is that? Like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock-ish. Tone unknown. This is without. This is with it. So now the low end is way more controlled. And I do have more sustain, and the mid-range is more focused, but I don't have a tone of distortion. Not at all. Very nice. Now it's just too dry for me. So what I want to do is to engage the delay. That's just a simple stock delay from Cubase. And this is it. Now it sounds correct to me, but the input level is right. So I can expect to have the same kind of behavior from an actual tube amp if I'm on stage or if I'm recording, okay? This is how you save yourself from the guitar plugin trap. Now, tone-wise, everything is ready and set up. Let's work on your legato technique. 3 useful exercises to practice in order to control your fingers, build stamina, and in general to level up your legato game. So, exercise number 1 is all about hammer-ons. The goal of this exercise is to control your fingers and to not move them around randomly. We don't want that. We don't want this sort of motions. This is horrible, sounds bad, it's a waste of energy. The exercise is basically this is a pattern repeated 3 times in different octaves. First beat is frets 7, 8, 7, 10, 12. Notes are B, C, E, G, A. Then we repeat the very same pattern 1 octave higher. Frets now are 9, 10, 9, 12, 14. The intervals and the notes are exactly the same. B, C, E, G, A. Pay attention to this slide. We play this slide with the pinky, but we want to use the weight of the other fingers to help the pinky stay on the string. Now, the third beat. Very same idea, same notes. Frets 12, 13, 12, 15, 17. Notes are still B, C, E, G, A. and then the tail, E and C, frets 12 and 13. Try this lick over a C major chord and A minor, and F major if you want to give it a Lydian spin. Feel free to experiment with it, change the note, change the intervals, literally use it in any way you like. Exercise number 2. This is all about pull-offs. This is on the minor pentatonic scale, but not on the box 1. We are all full of that, right? Instead, let's go into box number 2. That's the lick. Super slow. Now, the point of this exercise is to train your fingers to a very specific motion. A very common legato mistake I see in many students, in many guitarists, is that when it comes to a descending legato, or a pull-off if you prefer, they just lift the finger like this. But it sounds horrible, because the level of the notes is not the same. The first one is way louder than the second one. That's not okay at all. We don't have to lift the finger like this. No, the right motion is just to kinda pluck the string with the tip of your finger on the fretting hand, like this. Okay? In this way, the level of each note will be even. So the pattern is on the minor pentatonic box 2. It's a 4-note grouping. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4 descending. Then. Probably you have already seen this kind of patterns 1,000,000 times. This is specifically constructed to play with pull-offs. It's 10-8, 10-8, D, C, A, G, then 8, 10, 8, 9, C, A, G, E, 10, 8, 9, 7, A, G, E, D, 8, 9, 7, 10, G, E, D, C, 9, 7, 10, 7, E, D, C, A. Exercise number 3. This is the most creative of the batch. It's about melodic improvisation. At least I hope it's going to be melodic. So you just pick a scale, let's say F major, why not? And you try to make up a melody on the spot, and use it only the legato technique. In this way you will combine what you already gained from the previous 2 exercises, hammer-on and pull-offs. So it's better we use them to make music, okay? And not just to practice this legato stuff for the sake of being able to play legato. It's pretty pointless to me. The final goal is music, right? So I'm gonna improvise with you now. That's an F major chord. I'm gonna sing a melody on the spot. Na, 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 na. Okay, na, 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 na. Nice. This is the starting point of my improvisation. That was 100% improvised on the spot, and I could spend hours like that. I really enjoy this kind of, creative way of practicing. So I was just applying the concepts from exercise 1 and 2 I just show you to an actual musical idea. So I was just following my ear, not really paying attention that much to the emotions, but just focusing on being very light with my hands and being melodic. Once you nail this, it's way easier to shred. You know, it's way easier to play fast lines because, you know, in your brain you will remove them from that fucking pedestal. Speed should never be on your pedestal. Melody, improvisation, composition, personality, those are the elements that should be on your pedestal, not speed. Once you start practicing specific exercises for your technique, but you apply that technique on music, this is when the real fun begins, and this is when you start being creative and hopefully happy and satisfied with your own style. That's it, my friend, for today's lesson. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you applied the concepts I told you about, the input gain settings or these legato exercises. What else? Just have fun with it and set up your plugin properly. I will see you next week with another piece of guitar content. If you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell. Leave a comment, push the hype button, and this is it. Just play a lot and have fun. Ciao!